Jasmine Crockett has reportedly gone into hiding and is missing after her staff turn on her, go behind her back, and do an article with the New York Post where they expose Jasmine Crockett for being the worst kind of person and, in their words, calling her a boss from hell. But before she went off the grid, she did an interview with CBS, and the reporter asks her about this scathing article, and she starts to unravel, calls her own staff racist and sexist, and then descends into her favorite talking point, Republicans are a whole bunch of racist KKK members. I'm not kidding, she said that. I think Jasmine is in the midst of a mental breakdown because she's already panicking that Texas is drawing her out of a job. Last week, The Atlantic exposed her for being a raging narcissist who has her own face as her phone lock screen, and now even her staff is turning their back on her. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, but let's hear about this article from Jasmine's disgruntled staffers that put her in a straitjacket.
But when the cameras are off, Crockett's real claws come out. Staffers say she bites harder than she barks. And the whole fighting for you act, one big cheap fake. She even works from home. Quote, she's laying around her apartment, won't come into the office, and is really just indifferent to staff and will scream at them. When Crockett actually shows up for work, she wants to be treated like Governor Hot Wheels. She hates using her legs. She demands her staff play chauffeur and drive from the Capitol to her office. It's only a few blocks. And the car can't be some cheap Subaru. It's got to be an Escalade. After that, the aide must, and this is important, stand outside the car and open the door like it's the Met Gala. Another aide says Crockett's obsessed with being the black Sydney Sweeney. Quote, she's focused almost exclusively on being an influencer, not a member of Congress. Crockett's all diva, no wow. And Crockett might talk a big DEI game, but if you're black, you're the first to get the pink slip. Quote, I don't want to hear Jasmine Crockett talk about helping black women when she just fired one for no reason.
The article didn't say anything we don't already know about Jasmine Crockett. She's rude, she's abrasive, she's undignified, she's insufferable. So that part is no surprise to us. What I take from this and why it's so significant is Jasmine Crockett is probably the most racist person in the Democrat Party. This woman absolutely hates white people, and she lets us know that. So her staff was comprised of a whole bunch of black women. So for someone who truly believes that white supremacy is rampant, it is currently trampling and oppressing on black people, and how the patriarchy makes it so hard for women. So you would think she would treat her staff, who she would be helping break into this racist boys club of government, with a little more decency and respect. She preaches the whole black solidarity thing, but treats her entire black staff like they are lesser than her. She would never hire an all-white staff, but hypothetically, if she did have an all-white staff, I could completely understand her treating them like that because she lets us know she hates white people. But the fact that she's doing it to other black women shows you she is a ruthlessly disgusting narcissist. That's why she tried to shut down the article from The Atlantic last week. She was offended that they would talk to anybody besides Jasmine Crockett about Jasmine Crockett. She wanted to be able to control the narrative entirely about how she's portrayed because her ego is so fragile. And all of this going on right now is clearly sending her spiraling into the loony house. Here's the CBS reporter asking her about this article, and she just loses her mind. Watch.
Are you a no-show boss from hell who terrorizes staffers?
Oh my goodness. Listen, I know that I have arrived, honey. That is the way that I see this, because as Beyonce says, if they're not talking about you, then obviously you must not be doing anything. You know what? This is just more slander, more nonsense, more lies. And honestly, I don't think that the New York Post would probably be the first ones to be able to figure out if I was a boss from hell. You and I were joking before we got on camera about all of the scrutiny that comes with being not only woman, but being young and being a black woman. There's a lot of scrutiny that comes my way, and it comes my way from all different angles. But when people start talking about you, that's when you know that you are obviously getting under their skin. So I am not gonna give up. There's a song that I like to quote every once in a while. It says, "Your hate is my motivation." So keep hating. All it does is motivate me to continue to do what I do which is to be loud and proud on behalf of the American people.
Okay, that maniacal laugh before she gave her answer was just chilling. And then she immediately goes on to prove everybody who's calling her a narcissist and a diva right. Well, Beyonce says that if nobody's talking about you, then you ain't doing nothing. And that's the thing. She's an attention-seeking social media influencer placating as a congresswoman, single-handedly bringing down the respect and prestige of the United States Congress. Like, she's so delusional. They just hate me because I'm a young black woman. First off, she's 44, and I guess that's young in terms of government, but she's making it sound like she's some hated-on 25-year-old. People criticize Zohran Mamdani for being 33 and trying to run New York City because that's pretty young. No one looks at a 44-year-old like, oh man, that's just a young whippersnapper. They're wet behind the ears. They couldn't possibly have any experience at all. But that's how she's trying to frame it. It's just delusional. But anyway, now for the word on the street that after this horrendous interview and scathing article, Jasmine Crockett is missing and has gone into hiding. So this comes from Sheldon Daniels for Congress. Now, this is the person who now Jasmine Crockett is going to be running against after her districts are getting redrawn. This guy's a black Republican, and he's going to be able to capture her entire black base, but then also have some substance behind it and effectively kick Jasmine Crockett out of Congress. Thank God. But here's what he said on X. Word going around is that Jasmine Crockett is hiding out and refusing to speak with anyone after her staffers put her on blast. She is in panic mode as it becomes more and more clear that her time on Capitol Hill is coming to an end. It's time for a real Texan to represent Texas 30. Now, this is substantiated by her staff's claim that she likes to lounge around her luxury apartment. She never goes to work. Jasmine Crockett isn't known for a single piece of legislation. She's not known for being some clever bipartisan broker who might have a chance at speaker one day. She's loud and rambunctious and performative, and she's willing to humiliate herself every single day because she's addicted with looking at her TikTok followers. And she was never incentivized to change because she represents a plus 30 Democrat district. But now with Texas redrawing her district, she's finally going to lose her job. And we won't have to hear any more rhetoric like this. Here she is calling all Republicans KKK members.
Do you hear the stuff they're saying about Gene Wu, by the way, talking about Asians, like how he's connected to the Chinese Communist Party? Like the racism, they're not doing a great job of keeping it on, keeping the lid on that pot.
No, I mean, honestly, when Trump came in the first time, they started to lift the hoods. Once Trump got in a second time, they decided the hoods were off. And listen, I'm perfectly fine with it because I want to know where you stand. I want to know that you're a despicable human being who lacks all morality, but wants to go around and teach and preach Christianity. I want to know who you are because then I know how to deal with you. It is unfortunate that that is where we are. And it is one reason that it is so difficult for minorities to even try to listen to Republicans because they consistently coddle people like neo-Nazis.
As I like to remind you guys, the Democrat Party has a 19% approval rating. And the reason Jasmine Crockett says things like the Republicans took off their hoods in 2024 is because it plays directly to that 19%. And she's so obsessed with her mission of becoming a cultural icon that she doesn't care. She's going to keep tanking the entire Democrat Party because her being elevated to a national mouthpiece for the Democrat Party doesn't play well with any of the voters the Democrats are hemorrhaging. Jasmine Crockett is a parasite that's gonna suck the Democrat Party dry, and when they're all withered and wilted away, she's probably gonna go write a book and become a consultant or something. That's why my biggest piece of advice to the Republican Party is after Donald Trump leaves office, the next candidate we put forward should share the MAGA vision, but should be much more polished, calm, reserved, articulate, polite, because no one's gonna Donald Trump quite like Donald Trump. And we don't want to turn into the Democrats who, after Barack Obama left, tried to follow in his footsteps and recreate him time and time again. That's how you have Walmart Obama Hakeem Jeffries. We need to take a completely different approach, which will leave the Democrats as the aggressive, the rude ones, the crash ones. They'll be the ones left cussing like sailors, embarrassing themselves on social media, while we look professional and serious and ready for another 4 years. Once Trump leaves, the Democrats are going to seize that vacuum of Trump-like behavior, and all of the Republicans will have moved on to this new candidate, and all the Democrats who hate that Trump-like behavior but accepted it from the Democrats because, man, we got to combat Trump, will now leave them too because there's no more Trump to justify their terrible behavior. But this last clip I'm going to show you will solidify exactly what I mean. Here's failed politician Beto O'Rourke from Texas saying F the rules, F democracy, Democrats should just gerrymander as much as possible so they can beat Donald Trump.
We don't await the punch thrown by these would-be fascists to land. We punch first, and we punch harder. We want California and New Jersey and Illinois and Maryland and every other state where the Democrats hold the governor's mansion, the assembly, and the state senate to redraw their congressional districts now, not wait for Texas to move first, to maximize Democratic Party advantage. Listen, you may say to yourself, well, those aren't the rules. There are no refs in this game. Fuck the rules. We are going to win whatever it takes. We're going to take this to them in every way that we can.
So yeah, we'll just leave them with that. They're completely reactive to the Republican Party. So they'll be playing catch up based off what the Republicans do. They'll be like a year behind, still cussing, still being racist, still being overly aggressive, still talking about screw the rules, we want to win by any means. And then they're going to see their approval rating tanking and make the stark change to being polite and professional again, but it's going to come off as completely contrived. We can at least say, that was Donald Trump's style. We're in a whole different era now. But for them, it's going to be all of the exact same politicians who descended into this chaos, doing a complete 180 and now becoming these dignified lawmakers again, and it's going to be so inauthentic. But Beto's desperate rant confirms what I've been saying for several videos now, that the Democrats aren't afraid of Texas redistricting because, oh, they're just picking up 5 seats. It's because the Democrat Party's existence is hanging on by a thread, that they're so unorganized and irrelevant that they can't stand the Democrats doing anything else to put a foot on their neck. And that's why you have Jasmine Crockett broken, unstable, and missing in action. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.